Hello, everybody. It's season 2 of Business Spotlight, and today I am joined by Hunter Proctor. So, Hunter, please just tell us a bit about yourself and what you actually do.
Yeah. Well, first, thank you for having me on. It's really cool to have this talk and talk about just being an entrepreneur, especially here in Hawaii, and being a like a Christian filmmaker too. Um, it definitely hasn't been like easy. Um, I think one of the bigger things, well, I became a entrepreneur, started pursuing being a business owner in like 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was my last semester as an undergraduate student at the University of Hawaii at Manoa,
Mm-hmm.
studying linguistics. So not even anything related to my business. Um, and it just felt like God was like, all right, go out and do this. Like, just make your business, and I'll be with you every step of the way. Um, and so now, what I'm able to do currently, I'm in kind of that stage of like getting my name out there as a filmmaker and as a director of photography through my business. And so right now, it's a lot of like volunteer projects and like networking, so I'm still very much on the earlier side of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think that's one of the, I guess, more unique sides of filmmaking is that everything starts out very like small, and there's not too much you can do other than try and prove yourself among the filmmaking community, and prove that you have the skills and whatever you'll do what it takes to excel in the filmmaking industry. Um, but then there's also the kind of roadblocks that I run into being a Christian and trying to navigate the filmmaking community because typically it's not too, they're not too kind to Christian filmmakers.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's a lot of, like a lot of pushback for Christian filmmakers or like Christian films. They tend to be quite cheesy, I'd say.
Yeah.
Um, so I try to, I guess maybe God isn't always like the forefront of like my films, but He's always the backbone of it,
Oh, well.
and it's always like centered around like a teaching that Jesus would have taught or like has taught in the Bible, um, and pushing people more toward Jesus rather than because a lot of people they have a lot of like church hurt too.
Mm-hmm.
So or like religious hurt. So I try to come at it with like a kind of different perspective and trying to make people actually know who Jesus is, and not really what has been pushed by media or religion. And like like you come across like missionaries on the street and they're like a lot of the times it's very harsh, um
Mm-hmm.
and there's like a right way and wrong way to do that. But anyway, my filmmaking is very much a part of my journey with Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
and how I think I worship God the most, and feel like closest with Him outside of just like reading my Bible and being in community. And um, yeah.
Oh. So, like you mentioned, the challenges that you face, because like it's not easy when like you're starting something. So, what would you say was the hardest thing that you like had to overcome, and what were the things that you did to actually overcome the challenge?
I'd say it was like probably seeing other people like excel faster than you,
Mm-hmm.
even though you're in like the same kind of field is definitely a challenge because then you kind of you beat yourself up of it, or at least I did with like like what am I doing wrong? And then I had to just kind of realize that they're on like a different path and like I'm doing something different than they are.
Uh-huh.
And so I don't need to really be comparing myself to them. So it's really that comparison to others that was like a big like challenge and trying to get myself out of because I would be like just thinking like, oh man, I have to be doing something wrong if I'm not like getting these clients or if I'm not actually like excelling or making very much money right now. But then whenever I was on set doing stuff, it was like really cool because that's when I would know like, okay, I am doing what God has sent me here to do.
Mhm.
Even if it is going to take longer than maybe how other people are doing it, then like I know that I'm here doing what God wants me to do.
Uh,
But just kind of keeping him in my mind was always like the what I tried to go back to, and that's what always helped me overcome any of the challenges that I was facing.
okay. Wow. And talk about like, cause you're a Christian and you're a filmmaker and you're also an entrepreneur. How does that work? Cause like I have heard of people that say, like when it comes to Christian films, it's supposed to be like free. You're not supposed to like do any charging, but you're an entrepreneur and you're also a filmmaker. So how does that work?
Mhm. Yeah. So with being like a Christian filmmaker, it's not always that I'm making Christian films, but I bring that on set to maybe to be that kind of light
Mhm.
in like some dark places
Mhm.
too. There are films like my business centers around community inspiration and multiculturalism.
Mhm.
And that's like a really good like I guess three I call them like my three like pillars that I try to go by.
Mhm.
So any of the projects that I accept has to it has to address one of those like three. And if it doesn't, then I'll say no to the project. Um so that can be like if like let's say a like a university like basketball team wants to work with me to help them like to help document their like outreach into the community or like do some like volunteer work um then that's something that aligns with my business and also one of the things that God calls us to do as Christians is be in community and help support those who are trying to work with their communities.
Mhm.
So that's kind of how I balance everything. And I actually just finished a film on Sunday. It was like a 7 day like film challenge, and they asked me to be the director of photography with them. And even though it was all like volunteer work, um, but like the film was based around like Christian beliefs
Mhm.
and I was just it was so cool to be around like a bunch of other like Christian filmmakers and it was just a really amazing time and that's really how I try to bring everything all together is just stay within that Christian community because that's really like the important part to not like steer yourself away or like push God away from what you're doing because it's really easy to get lost I think especially in the film community because a lot of the friends that I've had that have had success and like built their like income very quickly was through doing videos for like clubs
Mhm.
or things like that or like nightclubs and places where Christians that are fully following Jesus should not necessarily go. But that's really way to it's a really easy way to get money as a videographer and as a filmmaker, like starting out. Um, I was never like that kind of person to like go and do that. And then even my friends, they were like, yeah, it's not worth it.
Mhm.
Um, so if it comes down between like getting money for my business or like following Jesus, I'm gonna follow Jesus every time.
Right.
Because there's other ways that I can make money outside of filmmaking, but that filmmaking part is like since it's my way of worship and showing God's gifts to the that He has given me, then I need to make sure I'm cultivating that in the best way possible.
Wow. That's beautiful, actually. That is beautiful. So you say that
Thank
you
you.
started out in 2024, if I'm correct.
Yes.
But I'm pretty sure with your actual skill of like photography, that might have started prior, like prior to 2024. So like tell us about that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah. Ooh, that's a good one. It all kind of started out more around like COVID time. So like and like even a slightly before COVID like really hit the world really hard. I had like a well, growing up, I didn't have like any interest in like the arts, like filmmaking, photography, nothing. And so, like, even when my sister would like want me to take photos of her on like vacations, I'd always be like complaining, like, because she would always want to take like 20,000 photos. I'm like, I don't want to take any photos. I just want to go and like play and do stuff.
Mhm.
But then I got into high school and I was required to take like a technology credit, and I wasn't about to sit there for 45 minutes typing on a computer. That didn't seem fun for me, so I was like, I might as well give like photography a try.
Mhm.
And I just remember the first day that we were allowed to like pick up a camera and like go outside and like just take photos of anything and everything, getting used to like camera settings.
Mhm.
I it was like an instant like love for a camera, and because I think that was like the first time that I had actually held like a like photo designated like camera, not just like one that's like on your phone. And so from then, I went, like, straight home and was like, "Mom, you have like, can I please get a camera? Like, can you go and buy a camera, like, for my, like, school project and anything?" And at that point, like, it was all, like, super expensive. Like, obviously, filmmaking equipment, photography gear, it's all, like it all adds up pretty quickly. Um,
Mhm.
and, so immediately my mom was like, "No, we can't get a camera at this time." And so that Christmas, my mom gave me a camera, and so I just used it as much as I could. And um, starting January 1st, I think it was 2020, yeah, 2020,
Mhm.
that was when I started like a photography challenge. That was like the 365-day photo
Oh,
challenge,
wow.
and I would try to take a photo every day, or at least have a photo designated for every day. Um, and that's really where I got started with the photography side, and 2020 also being when COVID like shut down the entire world,
Yeah.
and like a lot of places were quarantined. My state, like we weren't allowed to go to school. And luckily I had good grades in my classes at that time. So like what my school did was it said that you can choose to just end the semester with your current grade and then like not really have to do anything else the rest of the
Yeah,
semester.
that's so
And so
cool.
I was like, okay, I'll do that. Yeah, it was a very unique opportunity, and I was very grateful for like working hard earlier in the semester because then I didn't have to worry about anything like the rest of that semester. But I still wanted to be like, I always love like learning, so I still was like checking up on like the different classes that had available and like looking through at least the curriculums and making sure I didn't like fall behind in any way. Um, but it wasn't like I had to like submit any assignments or anything anymore. But that left a lot of time for me to just cultivate doing cultivate my photography, and then also I started looking at like the video productions class that they offered at my school, and then I was looking at like their curriculum, and they were watching a lot of videos from filmmaker and photographer, a really good one in like from Canada, and his name was Peter McKinnon, or is Peter McKinnon. And so I started watching his stuff, and that got me interested in filmmaking. And I tried to basically copy like his style as much as I could, and just participate in all his like COVID challenges. Like he'd have like a challenge like every week for people to do and submit their photos in, and I tried like every week to try and see if I was gonna be in one of his videos or something, and I never was, but um,
Well, at least you got something out of it.
it got me in that routine. Yeah, yeah, it got me to actually try and use my camera as much as possible. And then it just started like snowballing from there. Like I just wanted to keep creating more. And then got into that was like a Canon camera that I had then, a very basic Canon camera. And because I was using that camera so often, it's like my skill grew out of that camera so quickly, that I was like, okay, I need something that will be able to do more for what I'm wanting to do. And so I started looking up different cameras, and it was like that November or so, or December, I think was no, November. That was when I went ahead and actually bought myself my first like mirrorless camera. And it was like kind of that intermediate level camera where you can like do high quality video, high quality photo. It was the Sony A7 III. And I was super excited, did a bunch of work with that, and that essentially that camera was kind of what started my like whole filmmaking career. That's when I started to realize that I could actually pursue this field and I guess make money as well. Because I was like, whenever I did my first actual job, it was like an on-campus job at the university,
Okay.
and I got paid like $130 for making a video, and I was like, "Whoa, I can make money for something that I actually like doing.
Mm-mm.
Like this is weird. This is really cool." And then I was like, "Okay, I gotta really like jump into this and like know everything I can." That was kind of where everything like started and where everything went.
Yeah. You spoke about staying in community, like how that has really like affected your journey. And for those listening, like how does the people you surround yourself affect your entrepreneurship journey basically? And like your life in general?
Ooh. Yeah, community is one of the biggest things I think entrepreneur needs to focus on, because if you're not in a good community, then I think you're putting yourself in a position to fail. Um, because I had tried to, I guess, start my business back whenever I was like a first year undergrad
Mhm.
at the university, but I didn't have anyone around me that was like trying to be a business owner or like do anything with making money in filmmaking or being like I wasn't a really big um I was Christian, but I wasn't like following God's word as closely as I am now.
Uh-huh.
And so when I started my official business in 2024, it was like around August. I still didn't have like that big like community, but I started to have that filmmaking community because it really took me reaching out to like the Hawaii filmmaker, no, is the internet, uh, Hawaii International Film Festival.
Uh-huh.
They were looking for like interns for like that semester, and so I was like, okay, this will be a good place for me to network and actually grow with other filmmakers. And Yeah, so that was a big like Kickstarter to my work and to where I am now,
Uh-huh.
because it was just a bunch of people that were really wanting to help me out as a young filmmaker, and that way I can also be helping them out with like their film festival that season, and it was like a very good like transaction thing. And now I still have like a lot of really good connections through them. Like I met one of the writers for Moana 2, and then like a bunch of like actors that have played on films out here in Hawaii or like done stuff with like the live action Lilo and Stitch or like the live action Moana or Jumanji. And so it's like really cool. Anything that really comes through Hawaii. It's like now I know people that have worked on like those sets as either like background characters, as set designers, as like prop managers, like things like that, or script supervisors. So especially in the filmmaking industry, you definitely can't do it alone. You have to have those communities around you. And then out here, I realized that there is like a big difference in like just regular community, and then there's like the Christian community. And so that's where I think I found most of my support was in the actual Christian community. Because even though they weren't filmmakers, we all came from different parts of life, but they were able to fill in or pour into me a lot of like wisdom and like help keep me on track with Jesus and bring me closer to Jesus. And that way I can bring that into filmmaking. And then I found uh, like Christian filmmakers and like a Christian filmmaking like group. And so I was like, okay, this is really cool. Let me get in contact with like this community too. And that's this film that we just wrapped up on Sunday. Like that was the result of me like going into like that or God revealing that community to me, and me being able to be a part of that Christian filmmaking community too. Um, but yeah, there's always um the idea of like bad company corrupts good morals. So I've tried to always surround myself with people that um have like the same kind of headspace that I'm in,
Uh-huh.
or even well, not always the same headspace that I'm in, because there were definitely times when I was dealing with like a lot of mental issues or like mental struggles. So people that could just like stay positive and like give me good advice, like always trying to be around people that were uh, better than me, then that's also like really important.
So like talk about okay, because I've thrown questions at you. I didn't really give you a chance to share what's like maybe on your heart. So I don't want to make this too long, but I want you to share something that's on your heart. Just like at the top of your head before we end this.
Yeah. So I think if this is going to like reach other like people that are wanting to pursue entrepreneurship or anything that is like essentially creating your own path, always go to God first, and make sure your heart posture is in the right place.
Mhm.
It's not going to be easy either way. And in fact, it's usually easier if you just do it your own way and you want to try and do whatever and like you do anything to get money. It's really easy to do that. A lot of people do it all the time, but then that's it's not as fulfilling, I think. I'd rather work for God than anyone else.
Mhm.
Um, and that's kind of how I've approached any type of work that I'm doing. And it helps me realize that everyone on this planet is not above me. No matter if they're older than me, they have more experience than me. They're not. It's not like they're above me. I don't have that hierarchical structure. It's always God is above everyone. He's my boss. And so I think that helps you really understand that he's the only one that you really need to please in this life, and it takes a lot of stress off of you.
Mhm. It's true.
So that's what I'd probably recommend to anyone that's trying to pursue something um, like that's really them making their own path because it does get difficult. But if you have God as your guiding light, then you know you're on the right path.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. So I think we'll actually just end it here.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for
Yeah,
spending your time just sharing nuggets. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much, Hunter, for joining us today. Yeah,
absolutely.
okay.
Thank you for having me.